Hey, how are you, Jim?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Grant?
I am doing fair to meddling, I think is the Yorkshire term.
Which is meddling.
Actually, I had some spare time, which is very rare for me. So I thought, you know what? I'll go to the gym before a live stream with Jim.
You only do that in your spare time then, huh? That's great.
Only in my spare time. I create spare time, which is why unfortunately I end up at the gym at silly o'clock at night.
One of the things that drives me crazy is my wife will say, "When you have some free time, will you?" And I'm like, "Whoa! I have no free time."
that is a myth. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I think, without sounding like a misogynist, but I think it's a wife thing that, like, very, very rarely I'll have a moment and, like, do you know what? I've not got any meetings. I've not got any stuff to do. I've got a moment. It is at that moment when all of the stuff that needs doing needs to be done. And it's like, let me just have a minute. So it is not allowed.
Yeah, not allowed. Yeah. Henry Rollins I saw a meme of his one time and it said something like, there is no free time. There's just time. That's all.
Yeah. I like that. I've been doing a lot of kind of studying and reading about the concept of time. And, we do, like you said, there's no such thing as free time. We've got all the time that we need in the world to fit all that stuff in.
Right.
It's about priorities, about what's urgent and what's important.
Right.
I'm always busy of kind of doing urgent things and running around firefighting rather than doing what's important. So, yeah.
I find myself doing the same thing. It's those urgent things rather than those important things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's having the discipline to stick to the important things. Unless you're on fire, then that takes priority.
Absolutely.
Just about. So whereabouts in the world are you today?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Is it warm?
72 degrees. That's wonderful. It's so not great. I went out for a walk and I was able to take my t-shirt off. You're all welcome. Worked on some tanning. It was fantastic.
Nice. I think it's about 4 degrees here, and it's cold and it's raining and it's miserable.
Yes. It's the same in Seattle, and I'm grateful I'm not there. And I actually I got a last minute gig, so I'm staying here an extra week.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Good stuff.
That is cool. How are things show wise now?
Really, really good. It's great because I'm doing less shows, but I'm getting paid more for them. So that's what I want to be doing.
Exactly.
How about you?
Starting to pick back up again after the Christmas lull. Quite interested, and I'm always very professional and I have lots of systems in place. But I got a Facebook message from someone the other day telling me how much they were looking forward to my show next week. It was at that point I put it in the diary.
Thank goodness they messaged, right?
It's that, it came in. I mean, it came in months ago. But I was, it was one of those shows that I was kind of like, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Nice. I mean, Dave is not doing a good job of scheduling those things for you. So.
No, not at all. Dave's in trouble. Trouble. Yeah. We've got a great lineup today. Some stuff. And I thought I'd start with the under conference talk. We've got the summit for stage hypnotists.
Oh, yeah. This is so exciting. Really good. Really exciting.
The people that are already involved in that and the people that are talking about this, it is going to be exciting. And I can't believe it's not been done before.
It's such a shame. And I'll tell you, I was actually looking up. Well, number one, we should announce this. Tom Silver is going to be the keynote speaker. So
boom. There we go. I was going to have let's hang on. We can't just let that go unnoticed. There we go.
Yeah. Right.
Round of applause to Tom Silver.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, a couple of people have heard of him. Yeah, legend in the business, right? I mean, doing it for 40 years or something. And I was actually on YouTube last night, and I'm Googling stage hypnotist India, and I actually tracked down a couple of them, and I'm going to reach out to them because it's an online thing, so we can have worldwide presenters and people watching as well.
Yeah. And I love the idea of the kind of India thing, because very, very spiritual country.
Yeah.
And again, it's nice for it to not just be Brits and Americans,
And a
you
couple
know,
of
so
other
to
Europeans.
get that global summit should be really cool to get the different perspectives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are somebody who performs some way with stage, you know, whether it's a stage hypnotist, mentalist, what else? What else?
Juggler.
Stage
If you're a juggler that
juggler.
uses
You're juggling.
hypnosis, yeah.
Actually, talk to a
Yeah.
magician. We might even have a magician
Yeah.
on there talking about how to make your show better. And then and then people like Anthony Gailey who do talks with hypnosis in it, which is, I think both of us are kind of moving in that direction.
Yeah.
We want you to present.
Yeah, I think it's about we all talk about it as well. It's about performing hypnosis.
Yeah.
You know, there is hypnotherapists, and do you know what, you'll find a lot of the very successful trainers and speakers of hypnosis have that performance element to the stuff that they do, which is why people gravitate towards them.
Yeah.
Carl Smith in the UK, he's always talking about performing, or the performance side of doing what he does. There's a lot of hypnotists that aren't, you know, funny entertainers that talk about the importance of performing hypnosis. So we can all learn from that and hopefully grow as an industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Really excited. We've already got some people lined up that are, I mean, really, I'm just so excited to watch, to participate even.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Conference-wise, one that I'd not heard of before, and again, a little bit of a research came up to this American Academy of Medical Hypnoanalysts.
Wow.
I always there's a local hypnotherapist to me who's got a beautiful little office on the road as I travel to the office from my house.
Yeah.
And I think it's Ace, because I bumped into him once in town in a tailor's. And now I was good friends with the tailor, and I will get to the point, don't worry. I was good friends with the tailor, and he's come in, and I remember he was talking about something, and the guy's gone, "Oh, Grant's a hypnotist as well." And this guy's gone, "Oh no, but I'm a proper hypnotist," which always made me chuckle. But his sign, as you've got a Y in it here for hypnoanalysts, his sign doesn't have a Y in it. So whenever I go past it, it always makes me chuckle, because I always think it says hypnoanalyst. But I've never pointed that out to him. But yeah, so getting back to the point, the American Academy of Hypnoanalysts has a conference on I think it's the 27th of April to the 30th of April, which looks really good. And that is in, let's see if I can remember where that is. It was somewhere nice again.
Oh, really?
Let's have a look.
Was that
That is in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, nice.
At the Ablate Renewal Center. So that looks really good. I mean, it looks like it's aimed at, full conference. To their members is $309. Non-members is $435, which is not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like a great conference. Early bird registration. Yeah.
Great.
And training's obviously there as well. It's so cool, like, you know, trying to collate stuff for this show for the news, because
I know.
You find out what's going on everywhere.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing when you think, you know, I mean, not that long ago, I thought there was just one hypnosis conference, you know, maybe two.
Yeah.
And now it's just, the world's opened up, and hopefully other people are finding out about it too. And like, if you're in, I mean, obviously you and I will be at Heartland Hypnosis Conference during that time. Got my acceptance.
Looking forward to that
email. Yeah. But I mean, if you're down in Texas or somewhere, especially if you're into that, or you're into the medical type, I mean, dang, sounds like a good opportunity.
Yeah. And if you are in a part of the world where it's warm and tropical, and you want to have a conference, then get in touch with us.
Right. We promote heavily, so we will happy to come and speak and talk great things about it.
Yeah, especially if you're warm and tropical.
Mostly if it's warm and tropical, yes.
Then
you're guaranteed a good review, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? But it's great that the community, I think, as the world is getting smaller because of live streaming and the internet and Zooms, it's great that these communities are actually all, you know, like I said, ones that I'd never heard of, you'd never heard of, that have been been going for 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
So yeah, in the news.
Really good
This
article.
was a really interesting article. Yes. Now this was in Jagran TV. I don't know where that is, but it was it's somewhere far away. But what I found quite interesting with this, it was about World Hypnotism Day.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was so shocked at how many hypnotists didn't really push anything for World Hypnotism Day.
I know, yeah.
And in researching for this little bit, I found it really interesting that there was a great hypnotherapist that had a section. I was going to play the YouTube clip, but obviously it's YouTube and it was from a news channel, so I knew there'd be copyright.
Yeah.
But there was an American hypnotherapist that was on a local TV news channel promoting hypnosis for World Hypnotism Day. And I thought, that's great. I'm going to research her and find this particular female hypnotherapist and maybe ask her a question or see if we can get her on.
Oh, yeah.
And what was fascinating is in my short 5-10 minutes trying to find her, couldn't find her.
Really?
So she was on a news channel. She was promoting what she was doing. It blasted her name out there.
Wow.
And couldn't find it. So I went with this World Hypnotism Day one instead, which again, I learned something new about this. According to this article, World Hypnotism Day started in 2006 and has been observed after Dr. Jack Gibson, an Irish hypnotist who specialized in treating psychosomatic diseases of hypnotherapy, passed away in 2005. And the following year, this holiday was established in his memory.
Wow, did not know that. Interesting.
I did not know that. I always thought it was another hypnotist that started it for a marketing thing. So,
yeah, seems legit.
Yeah.
Way to do it.
So it'd be interesting to figure out that. So yeah, I thought it was a fascinating kind of thing in the news. And again, in the search for World Hypnosis news for World Hypnotism Day, it didn't bring up that much. So maybe next year, I know you were pushing some stuff and you were pushing for other hypnotists to push some stuff.
Yeah.
We've got to do it. It's the one day where we can shout about the goodness of being a hypnotherapist, and amazing that a hypnotherapist with no media, no publicity, nothing out there at all, got herself on a local news TV station, hypnotizing people.
Wow.
But no media presence. So,
what I gotta say too, it's let's do a better job, everybody. Let's do a better job next year. I got some stuff out, but it was nothing like I wanted to do. But Grant and I have talked about doing some stuff with Hypno News for that. But this is one thing that I discovered when I've had a couple of appearances that kind of blew up. And if you're on any kind of radio or TV, make sure you send over your website, your social media stuff, because sometimes they don't ask you for it. Yeah. And you find out you've gotten 1 million views on a video before you realize you need to send over your I remember one of mine, there were people in the comments, well, who's the hypnotist? Who's the hypnotist? And I'm like, it's me. Yeah. It's me. Here's the website.
The one lesson I learned years ago, and it's similar, but not to that scale, like make sure you've got your publicity photos and send them and be a diva with it. Yeah. I was doing something for a local club and they asked me to train some of their employees hypnotic language patterns. But this
love to hear more about that later.
Yeah, this got me it started off as local news coverage, which then went national, which then went international. I got interviewed on radio stations in Australia, India. It went around the world. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't prepared for it. But the thing I wasn't prepared for was they've kind of gone, or a national newspaper has gone, we want to come and interview you over this story. We're like, yeah, that's fine. And they've gone, oh, you don't need to send us pictures. We'll send a photographer. So I'm like, oh, cool, professional photographer. It's going to be brilliant. Here's the thing. The newspaper professional photographer is not bothered if I look good or not. What he's bothered about is having a cheesy photo of me clicking my fingers. And to this day, there is a photo on the internet that I absolutely Hey, don't start googling it. I've spent so long putting so much stuff out there to try and make that picture disappear off the face of Google. It's haunting me for years. One of my best friends has it on his phone when I ring. I look hideous. I look like I've got a massive spot.
Yeah.
It was just a terrible picture. And that went international. And when you search my name for probably 2 or 3 years after that, that image came up, and it was, make sure you're a diva and go, these are my pictures. This is the official shot.
Yeah.
Not some dodgy one where I look like a child snatcher.
And sometimes they'll just grab them off your website or grab something that they just found online.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not the ones you wanted them to. Could be like those. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Be prepared.
Be prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. The research one, this article had me glued to my screen. And again, it always frustrates me after like 20 years of reading stuff about hypnosis, where you kind of go, oh, I did not know that.
Right.
And it's quite a long article, but it's a great read, and it just keeps delivering stuff after stuff. And some of the stuff you are kind of like, oh, it's very anti-stage hypnosis. It's this, that, and other. But it's a reporter where they basically possessed his mind with hypnosis, which sounds a bit dark and sinister to start with. But then it goes back into like Charcot and Tourette, who were very famous psychotherapists and hypnotherapists, and the work that they were doing in order to look at the darker side of what's possible with hypnosis. And I did not know, and it mentions it in this article, that one of Tourette's patients who he was trying to hypnotize to, see what he could do, actually pulled out a pistol and shot him 3 times, one of the bullets lodging in his head.
Wow.
And she claimed it was because of the hypnosis. So it takes into that whole fact of you can't get somebody to kill someone with hypnosis, which we're all taught that. And so it's really fascinating. And the article goes into some other stuff. But yeah, it did remind me of the Darren Brown and Tom Silver thing.
Yeah, and interesting. I never heard that Tourette's actually used hypnosis. It's a very famous. Obviously, he's a very famous psychologist.
Yes.
Never knew he'd done any kind of hypnosis.
Exactly.
And I wonder too about like contraindications. I wonder was there something, I know we're kind of cautioned about, and maybe not kind of contraindicated to work with people with certain conditions. And was that one of the conditions? And of course, back then they were still pretty early on. So
yeah,
didn't know if there was a contraindication. So it probably wasn't the hypnosis that made her snap, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there obviously must have been something else going on as well. But yeah,
it was a little. I gotta say again, the stage hypnotist. They say in the what do you call it, flaky, the flaky stage hypnotist stuff or something.
Yeah.
Come on, why do you guys always have to diss stage hypnosis to make your points? Come on now.
It's weird. The news article, the one where there was a hypnotherapist that has no media presence, it started off exactly the same. It's like, hypnosis, it's, a lot of people think about it for getting people to bark like a dog, but it can be done for other things as well. And I actually think the weird thing is more people, I believe, know about hypnotherapy than what they know about stage hypnosis. And the only thing they know about stage hypnosis is when people say, it makes you bark like a dog and it's hypnotherapy. And it's like, this is why both myself and yourself, it's about that pushing stage hypnosis and performance hypnosis forward to be seen as like, you wouldn't diss a comedian or a wordsmith or a singer, a songwriter by going, oh, it's just songs, it's just this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is a craft. We do put work into making it what it is. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And it's the thing is when you're looking from the outside, I guess it could look that way. Like you said, if you ask somebody about hypnosis, most people I think are going to say, well, I heard it can help with smoking and weight loss. That's what I would think the most. When I do a show, I'll say how many people have seen a hypnosis show before, and there's literally out of 100 people, 2 or 3 people have raised their hand. So I think that there's maybe there's at least an opportunity for us to spread the good word of hypnosis. And frankly, for the hypnotherapists, if it wasn't for us, you probably wouldn't get as much business because we're the ones that kind of put it out there in the limelight.
It's weird because it used to be with stage. It used to be you'd ask your audience who's seen a stage hypnosis show before. Just for compliance, you get half the audience put their hands up, and then the other half who's not seen it, they put their hands up, and then and it was for compliance. Now when I go, who's seen a stage hypnosis show before, and you get like maybe one person put their hand up, I just think to myself, I don't have to do any new material tonight.
Right, I know exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hot and cold. You're at the beach. It's nice and warm.
Right. Everybody's favorites.
I got a message going off on a tangent. I got a message of someone this week who's doing a show, and they meant it as a compliment. And I promise I did not take it the wrong way. But they went, "I've just seen one of your shows on YouTube. The simplicity." Like, what do you mean the simplicity? What do you mean the simplicity? I think they meant it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Never speaking to them again.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that article, no matter how long you've been doing hypnosis, have a read of it. You'll argue with some bits, but I found it absolutely fascinating.
And please, everybody, come on, start sharing this stuff. We need to get the word out there about hypnosis. We know how powerful it is. Most of us, that's how we got into this, is because we used it for something, or we saw a show and were moved by it. And you know, really, it's our duty, it's our responsibility to show the world what's possible for them.
Yeah, yeah. And the more it's put out there, the more it's seen as being a viable therapy treatment, the more it's seen as being a viable entertainment thing. And the less we get of this same old regurgitated flaky hypnosis and that same old stuff. Because for a news channel to be like, oh well, you know, it just makes you bark like a dog, you kind of think let's get rid of that by just, you know, flooding the world with good stuff about hypnosis.
Yeah. And just one more quick thing about that, and we can move on. But you know, I may have told the story before, but as far as stage hypnosis maybe not being legit or somewhere it's flaky or something, I used the shyest girl. I could tell she was very shy on stage. I made her a motivational speaker. She was amazing. Yeah. And the next day she messaged me and said, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I never would have thought that I could speak on stage like that." Yeah. And what a great experience for her.
Yeah. And it's when that wedge happens, that's when the magic happens. That's when she can then go on to be a public speaker if she wants to, because she's done it before and she did great. So her point of reference has completely changed. Yeah. So yeah, it's so weird that whatever we think becomes, you know, who we are, how we perceive ourselves. It's so important.
Yeah. Another great topic for pro tips later on. Yeah.
Well, speaking of pro tips, it is pro tips.
Well, now I've got like 17 pro tips, but since we, because I'm just thinking of all these new things, and I was going to talk about one thing. I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier, because I want to really make this clear. Some of you know, this is not to, I'm not even going to say what I did, but I did a couple of projects that got a lot of views, and I completely dropped the ball on those. Completely dropped the ball. If you're in any kind of an opportunity where you think there's even a chance that this video or this radio interview or this TV show may blow up, you need to do some things. And I'll tell you, one of the things you need to do is get yourself set up with a special link, and you can go to Pretty Links. It's a WordPress plugin if you give your own thing, but you can also use Bitly or something, but it won't be as good. But for instance, you could put in, because then I can put in Jim Kellner Hypnotist / The Tonight Show, right? And so I can say that link, the host can say that link. You can direct people to a landing page where they can get your free opt-in, or you can get whatever. Have something available to capture email, because I'm telling you what, I got so many emails from people, and it would have been so great to be able to just shoot them back a certain link. Hey, sign up here or whatever. I just lost so many opportunities because I wasn't prepared at all.
Yeah. I've got an event on Sunday. It's quite a big kind of local trade show. And literally I'm like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to put together some like therapy products that I could sell there and do this and another. I'm like, do you know what? I'm not even doing any of that. I'm literally a QR code into the Sunday sessions group, because once they're in the group, I can sell to them over and over and over again, sending them to a website. They can dip in and dip out as they
Right.
want. I don't want that. I want them in that group. I want them on my mailing list. I want to be able to target them when I need them. So yeah, exactly. It's finding somewhere so you can send them, so you can use them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then, then to finish that is when you're invited to be on a show or something like this, and I'm bad about this too. I don't always send my info, even though they'll ask me for it. Hey, can you send us a photo and a bio? I actually went through now. I have a bio. It's written in a document, in a Google Doc. I've got some photos in Dropbox and a promo video and stuff. So it's very easy now, because there were too many times when I had somebody cancel. They were like, hey, we didn't get your info soon enough. So they canceled it 2 days in advance. I was like, sorry. So I've made this mistake. And then also, like what happens with Grant, they will use the worst picture on your website. They will use the worst picture they can find for some reason. And it's, so you send them what you want. And these are the things that I would send. And I would say, here's some info for you. Feel free to use it, change it, or don't use it. I include a couple of photos, a short bio, 250 words or so, website, my favorite social media, 2 or 3 of those, and then my preferred hashtags. So that's hashtag Jim Kellner, hashtag damn I'm pretty, all those kind of things. 3 or 4 of those that they'll help to promote you and makes their job easier.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about making their job easier.
Yes. Yeah.
These people don't want to be working hard. Nobody wants to work hard.
Yeah.
And if you kind of go, there's my bio, there's my pictures, there's this, there's that, they can go simple, done.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a pro tip. Cheers for that, Jim.
Thank you. And Grant got a funny bit for us. I read about it. It sounds hilarious. Is there video? Because I would love to see
There's no
this.
video. Thank goodness. Now I know in America the whole dropbacks is quite a contentious. Do you lay them on the floor? Do you not? I was working. It was a tattoo and biker convention, so it was pretty awesome to start with. Now I always wear dress shoes when I'm on stage, Eves and Grey, because they have the purple soles. If you're watching Eves and Grey, send me another pair. I always wear dress shoes on stage. This particular venue, massive, had a big dance floor. Now, I don't know if you have, or you probably want it. There's a thing in the UK called Northern Soul, which was a movement in the kind of 60s, 70s, 80s, which was, it was probably a little bit of Motown, Tamla Motown, but Northern Soul was, they had certain dance moves. It was all really cool. But what they would do is they would put talcum powder down on the dance floors so that they could really, I'm not going to do it, but they could slide around the floor and do all sorts of crazy dance moves.
Oh, no.
To the point where a lot of working men's clubs that have big dance floors have signs up now saying no talc on the dance floor.
Oh.
I say now, this is going back a few years. Anyway, tattoo and biker convention, really busy show. Great stage as well. It kind of 3 steps down, beautiful dance floor, big band behind me. So I've got them lined up and they're all big, burly bikers. And I'm just, because it's a biker show, I'm dropping them. I'm not putting the ladies on the floor because I'm a gentleman, but these big, scary blokes, they're getting put on the floor. And it's all dramatic. Yeah. Anyway, one's laid here. And I've gone to do the drop back on another one, and he's a big lad. And I always make a joke about it. And this guy it was around about the time of Game of Thrones. So it was the Mountain, I think it was called. Yeah. So I've pulled up a cabaret chair and I've stood on the chair to kind of joke about how big he is.
That's awesome.
I then got off the chair, moved the chair to one side, and I've started to do the drop back. And I generally put the hand over and then just slowly stroke the forehead back. And as he started to go, I've got my leg out at an angle so I can leverage him to lower him down slowly. It was at that point I realized that there's talc on the floor and I've got dress shoes on and my feet just went straight from underneath me.
Oh boy.
I've then gone under, he's gone over, and he was big and he's landed right on top of me. And he's out cold. He is out. He is hypnotized. I am stuck on my back on the floor. And the whole venue was just on their feet, laughing and pointing at me, trying to get out from underneath this big fella. I think at one point he was just playing along with it just to stop me from getting up. But he was heavy and I could not get up. So, yeah. And don't get me wrong, as a professional, I'm always like, you got to make sure that you're safe and you're grounded and you're there. All of that. Nothing prepares you for talc on the floor. And yeah, that was a lesson learned. But the audience was just in hysterics over that. Nothing was funnier than that moment.
Right.
And luckily, there was no pictures and no videos on Facebook.
And luckily, you were there to cushion his fall, so no insurance claim.
Exactly. Exactly. But it was, yeah. I've had, and I suppose it's the joys of doing what we do. I've had all these things happen to me on stage, so I now know. And it's only afterwards when you go, that's why you're supposed to do that. Right. I remember doing the horse race with I think the correct terminology is a heavy set lady was in the chair. And she was going crazy on the horse, so her chair was going crazy. So I'm having to hold the back of the chair. She's gone forward, and when she's come back, her and the chair has gone right on my foot and fractured one of my toes.
Oh my God! Wow!
And you do, and you kind of like, you just want to go get off the chair. You heavy set lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's the joys of stage. Luckily, I think for us that have been doing it as long as we have, when we were making those mistakes in the earlier days, there was no social media.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. So many things that can happen. And I got to say, having watched your dropbacks at the Heartland or at the Michigan conference, impressive stuff. Really cool stuff.
Oh, thank you. I try and do it. I try and do it in a way that is respectful. And I know I did a festival a couple of years ago, and I was really pleased. I posted it in one of the groups. Sorry to go off on a tangent. And it's the finale of my show. They all slowly go down onto the floor. It's my monkey just slowly rests them down. And at that moment, I have the music come down as well. And always at the point when they lay out, the audience always stands up, and it's always a massive, and that's the finale of my show. Nice. Always works. It's brilliant. And I've posted this in one of the groups just to see that, so you could see the audience. It was in a Spiegel tent, and everyone's on their feet clapping and cheering. And I was inundated with messages from a hypnotist saying, if you come to my state and you lay people on the floor like that, it's so disrespectful. I'll come to your show and punch you in the face. And I'm like, you're missing the point. But yeah, I think drop backs and laying on the floor done right can be such a great way to do a show. But again, it has to be respectful.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Who's watching? Comment below if you watched. If you got anything valuable out of this, we'd love to know. I mean, hey, Grant and I are happy to just hang out and chat for half an hour. So who cares if you're watching? Hopefully you are.
Yeah. And if you're watching on the replay as well, put hashtag replay in the comment section. We do monitor the comments even after the live. And it's always interesting because I know it's always like, for me, tomorrow morning, I always get a couple of messages of people that have watched. So yeah, it's always interesting to know the different times that people tune in from as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Right.
Good stuff.
I think that is us.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yes. Jim, take care.
You too.